Yo, what is up everybody, and welcome back to another Madden 20 online CFM game. We are now in week 15 of the 2021 season here in the Premier Madden League, and the goal is simple today for our Miami Dolphins. Win and secure a first round bye in the AFC Conference and give yourself the fast track to get the #1 seed in the AFC Conference. You can never count your chickens until they hatch. So despite having a 12-0 record to start the season and having a pretty good chance at getting a first round bye in the #1 seed, we are not going to take these Buccaneers lightly, especially since we just lost our first game of this season last week against the Buffalo Bills. So there's a bit of fire in the eyes of these Miami Dolphins looking for redemption today, but most importantly, looking for that first round bye, looking to take care of business against a Buccaneer squad that is already eliminated from playoff contention with a 4-9 record. If we can get this first round bye, that means the last 2 weeks of the regular season we can chill out, maybe rest some starters, try out some new plays, have some fun, no pressure on us. And we would love to do that because the last 2 weeks of the regular season we played the Chargers and the Colts. Those games are no gimmies. So today we want to come out with a cutthroat attitude against these Buccaneers, get the win, and get the first round bye. Whether we ultimately get the 1 seed or the 2 seed is not really of my concern because home field advantage doesn't matter too much in the game of Madden, and arguably our home field advantage, quote unquote, with the Miami Dolphins isn't much of an advantage because it always rains in Miami, and I don't think our team plays too well in the rain, but it might not matter as long as we have Tate Stearns, who is on his way to getting the Defensive Player of the Year for this historical campaign he's putting together in just his rookie season. Here is Le'Veon Bell running the ball. This Tampa Bay Buccaneers team has a lot of different faces from the players you normally see on the real-life Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like number 3 is not Jameis Winston. That is Justin Herbert. You got Le'Veon Bell in the backfield. You got Marlon Mack in the backfield. You have Jamison Crowder at receiver. You have a drop on 3rd down and long, and that'll be a nice stand by our Dolphins defense after Jerome Baker got the sack, and Brashad Perriman very wisely letting that go for a touchback as we get it to Jakeem Grant, breaking ankles, and look at Grant fly. Look at him run away from the rest of the pack. Your touchdown has been granted. Is that not the perfect start? I mean, we could have gotten a pick 6 or a fumble recovery for a touchdown, but nonetheless, we will take it. One throw, barely a throw on an RPO to Jakeem Grant, and we get a touchdown. Cool, that's fine. If we could get a nice lead early, hopefully we could demoralize this Buccaneer squad and just chill out for the rest of the game, right? Like I said, we're coming out with a cutthroat attitude, no messing around, as Tate Stearns is definitely delivering that message to the former New York Jet, Le'Veon Bell, as Herbert. Oh, he has time, but eventually the pass rush gets there. Vernon and Derek Brown combining for the sack. 3rd down and 16. This time he has the time, but he goes in the middle of the field, and that is interception number 16 on the season for Tate Stearns. That ties the all-time single-season record for interceptions in a season that was set by Minkah Fitzpatrick in Season 1 of this CFM, along with Eddie Jackson in Season 2, Lynn J. Dixon in Season 3, scoring the touchdown and getting us a, wait for it, Joey Sly up and good, 14-0 lead, and we're not even done with the first quarter. Operation Demoralize the Buccaneers in full effect right now as St. Brown, the rookie, out of the end zone. He's got jukebox, so we definitely got to watch out for him, but as you guys saw, his catching not exactly the best on that 3rd down and long, as that's going to be a run by Marlon Mack. These Buccaneers have 2 superstar running backs, which is something that we've gone against a couple of times in this CFM, and we definitely have to make sure neither of these running backs break off a big play, force Herbert to beat us in the air, and on 3rd down, that is going to be incomplete. Herbert with a not so great start, and you know, you definitely want to take some time to get into a 10-minute quarter game of Madden, but when your opponent is coming out with absolute heat the way we are, you can chill out and find yourself down 21-0 in just a beat. Here comes Jakeem Grant again. Grant juking around, and Jakeem already looking for his 2nd touchdown. Look at Khalil Tate's stats. Pretty solid, but down he goes. Remember, we talked about that pass rush of these Buccaneers. Bradley Chubb and TJ Watt. Nothing to play around with. We got to get the ball out quickly today, and nothing quicker than an RPO to Mike Gesicki for the first down on 2nd down and a mile. mile. With Lynn J. Dixon and Boston Scott both back, we will pretty much always have one superstar running back on the field at all times. One running back with jukebox at all times. And we definitely have to utilize our weapons. And with us utilizing these running backs and Jakeem Grant, DeAndre Hopkins has not really been a part of this game so far, and he hasn't had to be, as Boston Scott gets us a first down and goal to start the second quarter at the 3-yard line, and a timeout is called by the Dolphins, making sure to get the right play call, and it is the right play call. Lynn J. in again, his second touchdown of the game. Miami up 21-0. You look at the records of these teams, Tampa Bay 4-9, Miami 12-1, and this is the expected result, but like I said, this Tampa Bay team has a lot of talent, and this Tampa Bay team has been capable of pulling off upsets in this league. They beat the Bills team that beat us, so we definitely cannot take them lightly today. But coming out with that attitude, that cutthroat attitude, like I said, is definitely paying off. Something I feel like we haven't come out with in the last couple of weeks, and we haven't had to in some of those games, like against the Texans. But against the Bills, we came out flat, especially offensively, and ended up biting us in the butt. So you know, we can't really afford to do that because these CFM games are tough, man. Like, you guys see us winning in every single game and going 12-0 and 12-1 and all that stuff. But, you know, a lot of these guys are pretty good. It's just that we are putting together a fantastic season. We built a fantastic roster, and we're forcing, you know, another punt here from the Buccaneers from the 42-yard line. Arguably, that's go for it on fourth down territory if you ask me, but man, doesn't matter if you pin your opponent at the own 1-yard line. Thankfully, we get out of that jam by finding Colin Johnson. And how about a read option for Khalil Tate? So now at this point in the game, this may be a chance to actually try some stuff out. Maybe not. Oh, that was nearly intercepted. Also nearly caught by Jakeem Grant. Second down, middle. There's DeAndre Hopkins. You almost forgot he's on this team. We've been productive, but without number 10, who is a guy we would definitely need to lean on against, you know, more bigger threats in this league. But right now we haven't really had to use him as Lynn J. Dixon is injured. Of course. Why couldn't we just have two healthy running backs for a game? Why does someone always have to get hurt? I don't know. Hopefully it's not a long-term injury, as Colin Johnson is not going to get that catch. Third down and 10, upcoming 5 wide for Khalil Tate. Thankfully, Lynn J. is fine, so we don't have to worry about that as Mike Gesicki gets the catch. So we will probably not really use Lynn J. for the rest of this game. He's done his work. He's got 2 touchdowns. We'll rely on Boston Scott and Kalen Balaj from here on out. Second down. Another read option here for Khalil Tate. I'm definitely trying to try out these read options. I told you guys I'd be trying some like a video or two ago, and here's some. Third down and 15. Here is Khalil Tate with absolutely nothing. He's dancing and he's taken down. There is a flag on the play though, and it's a face mask penalty on Bradley Chubb. Oh, that's devastating. Instead of knocking the Dolphins out of field goal range, here we are, first down to 28-yard line, and Grant again, so elusive with the ball in his hands. We hit the 2-minute warning with a first down and goal upcoming. Here is Khalil Tate with the ball, with the time. Johnson not going to make that catch. We tried it. We tried to hit up our version of Megatron Colin Johnson, but that time just straight up inaccurate from Khalil Tate. That'll bring up a third down and goal at the 2. Tate leaving the pocket, and Khalil Tate finding the end zone. How about Tate using his mobility today? A 2-yard scramble. Feels like that might be his longest of the season. Jokes aside, we're not joking around today. Now it's 28-0, and at this point, we can start resting some of the players now because we don't need them in the second half. The way we are playing, our defense is definitely, you know, doing their thing, but this is honestly one of these kind of games where we are playing some really great defense. As I say that we give up an unnecessary roughness penalty, but we're playing some great defense without really having to do too much, right? We're just kind of going through the motions, and while we're going through the motions, we have the Buccaneers to like under 100 yards passing. And that's what happened a couple weeks ago against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this was something I talked about earlier in the season where, you know, we definitely have to make sure we stay fresh at all times as we get the forced fumble, the recovery. It's Malik Harrison. Can he go all the way? He's out of gas, but he makes it in on E. Malik Harrison extending the lead to 34-0. The fans might as well not even show up for the second half because, yeah, I don't see the chances. I mean, unless there's Dolphins fans in the stands, which is possible. This is a battle of two Miami teams. I don't know exactly geographics of how far Miami is from Tampa Bay. I'm sure it's probably a couple hours. Miami's pretty deep into Florida. Tampa Bay is like near the top, right? I digress. That's not really too important right now. What is important is the fact that we are up 35-0. But yeah, what I was saying before we got that forced fumble and fumble recovery was that, you know, we have to make sure we stay fresh because, you know, next thing you know, we get into some hell games like we got against the Buffalo Bills, and, you know, our offense was pretty stagnant that game, to be completely truthful with you guys. Our offense was stagnant mainly because we haven't exactly stayed fresh offensively. A lot of these second halves, we're just, oh man, Brashad Perriman. A lot of these second halves, we're just running the ball for the entire second half because we have such a big gap, and next thing you know, like I said, we're just not exactly ready to play that full 10-minute quarters because we've only played like one true half, and even in that one half, like, we're getting a defensive touchdown from Malik Harrison, forcing turnovers. That is going to be a 3-and-out to start the second half. We had Grant right there, but TJ Watt looking like his brother JJ swatting that ball away. A wonderful punt from Matt Hawk, but yeah, not really sweating this one too much as the Buccaneers run the ball, and a lot of times against, you know, some of these teams, they will get away from the ground game, and, you know, especially against this Bucs team that we talked about that had 2 superstar running backs, the fact that we could put them in a hole early and make sure we don't have to get too much of a dosage of Le'Veon Bell and Marlon Mack definitely helped us out. 2nd down and 12 here. They are getting a decent gain, but, you know, it's bend but don't break. So at this point, we do have our first round bye pretty much clinched. So what does that mean for week 16 and week 17? We play against the Chargers, who need every win possible to try to get a wild card spot, maybe even win the division, but that's unlikely. But nonetheless, the Chargers pretty much need to win out to make the playoffs, I'm pretty sure. So we'll see what they bring week 16. We're probably, you know, I would say we're probably going to hold on a second, Brashad Perriman. Don't do him like this, Brashad. Rashad Perriman just messing with these boys right now. But yeah, week 16, I said we probably rest DeAndre Hopkins, maybe even Jakeem Grant as well. I'm not too sure how many other people will rest. Like, we can rest maybe Caden Stearns, maybe Boston Scott. We'll see. You know, we'll play those cards when we have to. But for right now, I would say we probably want to make sure we protect DeAndre Hopkins and probably Jakeem Grant at this point, because we just straight up don't need them for those last couple of weeks. We'd rather have them healthy for the divisional round of the playoffs, whomever we play against. And yeah, and then in week 17, we play against the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts play in the AFC South Conference, which is pretty weak, so I'm pretty sure they've probably clinched that AFC South by now. The Colts were actually our biggest opponent as far as getting a first round bye. The Colts would have been having the chance to get either the 1 or 2 seed. The Raiders right now have the second best record in the AFC as we run a little motion with Jakeem Grant nearly getting that first down. It'll set up a 4th down and short, which I would love to go for, but the score is 35-0. We talked about this one a couple of weeks ago. We'll just kick the field goal there, move on, and run out some clock for the rest of this game. But yeah, so that week 17 game will probably be like the week 17 game last season we played in Indianapolis when, you know, I mean, it won't be exactly like that because in that week 17 game last season, we knew we were playing the Colts in the wild card round before that game even started. This week 17 game, the Colts will be in the wildcard round, but we won't be there because we'll be in the divisional round. But nonetheless, both teams have their playoff seeding pretty much secured. You know, barring some miraculous outcomes, we will be the 1 seed in the Colts. At this point now, they will maybe be the 2 seed, maybe be the 3 seed. I don't know. Like, they might still have a chance to get a first round bye. So either way, like, it's not going to be a game where either team is sweating. So it'll just be some messing around out there. Last year, remember, we were throwing into CeeDee Lamb. I miss CeeDee Lamb when I remember that week 17 game. He had such a big game out there, and Colin Johnson, the guy that we have instead of CeeDee Lamb, isn't exactly flourishing this season. And trust me, I've been trying the last couple of weeks to get the ball to Colin Johnson. Like that last week against the Buffalo Bills, I was, making a, real effort to get the ball to Colin Johnson, and it just wasn't working out for us to the point where it was actually just demising our offense, and it was taking away touches from guys like DeAndre Hopkins. So I was trying to get Colin Johnson involved, and we actually ended up losing the game. This week, I tried again, especially at that goal line sequence. You guys might notice I threw it to Colin Johnson 2 plays in a row. It's just not working out for us for whatever reason. I'm going to work on Colin Johnson these last couple of weeks, though, because I would love to have Colin Johnson as a big piece of our passing game, or at least a respectable piece in our passing attack in the playoffs. So we are hopefully going to find ways to get Colin Johnson established because, him being the number 2 to DeAndre Hopkins has just completely taken away from what he brought for us last season. Because last season he was close to a 1,000-yard receiver. I believe he had about 900 yards. He was third on the team, but still 900 yards. He is way down from that this season. So yeah, that's the official Colin Johnson update. We got time to kill, man. We got still 6.5 minutes left in this game. The chew clock, like I said, we're still running. I don't know why I'm running with Boston Scott and I don't have Raheem Boyd and Kalen Balajian, because at this point all we could do is risk injury. But Boston Scott's doing his thing out here. Boston Scott might low-key get 100 yards on the ground if we keep him in this one, which we are right now. Oh, and that's why you take Boston Scott out the game. He fumbles the ball. TJ Watt, who has definitely made an impact in this game, even though some of his teammates have not, forces the fumble, but we do fall on top of it. So things are just going our way today, and we'll just, like I said, chill out week 16 and week 17, have some fun with those ones. I have some ideas of some things I want to try out and some things I want to do. Like I said, we'll rest D-Hop and Grant, maybe get Colin Johnson a bit more involved, see what else we have as far as a receiving core, try out some stuff defensively, and otherwise we'll just have some fun with those as Khalil Tate. Oh, Tate in the end zone. This one's not over just yet. Tate finding his way in for 6 on the read option. Maybe that read option game is something we can, mess around with for real. And that's something I'll try to mess around with week 16 and week 17. We're not going to rest Khalil Tate for those final 2 games. I kind of doubt that we will suffer a quarterback injury. I'll just take my chances on that one, to be completely honest. I really doubt Khalil Tate will get injured. We're not going to put him in harm's way, but we definitely want to, make sure we build up Khalil Tate's confidence for the playoffs. Don't want to leave him cold on the bench, especially since our backup right now is Ryan Fitzpatrick. I honestly don't want to play with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I like when Ryan Fitzpatrick kneels the ball down, which hopefully he can do pretty soon in this one if we get a stop in this last minute of the game. But yeah, we'll keep Khalil Tate in, maybe mess around with some read options, see if he and Colin Johnson can get on the same page. That'll be an interception for Jason Verrett. That'll put this game away officially. 1 quarterback kneel needed today from Ryan Fitzpatrick, who at this point in the season probably has like negative 20 rushing yards, but that's a great thing for us. That means we have secured another victory, and we officially now do have the first round bye in the AFC Conference. I don't want to say this season's a Super Bowl or bust for our Miami Dolphins. I mean, realistically, looking at our team and looking at our performances in the last 2 teams, it is. I don't like putting that on our squad because, honestly, to me in this CFM, even though the expectations are probably bigger from you guys in the comments section, for me, I just like having fun to CFM. I like building my team and just having fun with the pieces that we put together and, building schemes for our plays and all that, which we definitely have done this season 3. I'm proud of what we've done this season, but, I don't want to make it where, oh, man, if we lose in the playoffs, we suck, right? This whole season was a wash. I have fun this season. We're going to continue building this team, no matter what happens in the playoffs, but at the same time, no lollygagging, man. I want to make the Super Bowl. I want to make sure we face those Chicago Bears who will probably win the NFC Conference and see what the hell those Bears are all about. Why those Bears have never won a game. That is definitely my goal. Make no mistakes about it. We are going to come out in the playoffs, hopefully completely ready, completely focused, and get ourselves the 2 wins we need to get to the Super Bowl and see what those Bears are all about. And if we get there, win the Super Bowl, of course. So yeah, leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed what you guys saw today. Subscribe for more Madden 20 gameplays. Shout out to everybody who stuck out the second half of that game because, it was a stinker. You guys just listen to me ramble on. And I'll catch you guys next time on that note. And yeah, have a good day, I suppose.